Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4! And today spawning on the west side of the map playing in blue. It's big news, but Jose Mourinho. It's actually beastyqt playing as the Japanese. And battling out against them today spawning in the southeast in red, we've got Kaiser Johan playing as the English. Welcome everyone to Dry Arabia. Now as always, a good morning, maybe a good afternoon, who knows, maybe even a good evening. Of course, depending when you're watching the match, I hope you are all doing very, very well. And I'm excited for this one because actually the English versus the Japanese, whenever I upload this matchup on YouTube, wherever, usually it's a banger of a game anyway to be fair, but the video tends to do very well. I don't know if it's because of the civilizations, probably is. But there's lots to talk about, lots to unpack. So the Japanese, in fact we haven't actually featured this civilization that often on the channel, so I'm kind of happy to be able to feature it today. And it's a civilization which comes in with the new DLC. Well, I say new, but you know what? It's not that new. Considering we're actually going to get a new DLC in 2025. That's right. That's the plan anyway. The most recent patch notes for Season 9, there's a little bit of a tidbit at the end. And the developers have confirmed we will be getting a new DLC, but I digress. So yeah, the Japanese came in with the most recent DLC, and actually a lot of the civilizations and variant civilizations that came in with that DLC have been very interesting in the way they play. And it all revolves around the town centers and when they add them. The Japanese and the Ibids to some extent and some others typically add in their town centers when they're actually in the castle age, would you believe? A lot of civilizations typically open with a second town center right in the feudal age, and English actually one of those civilizations that can do that. But the Japanese, amongst others, Jushi Legacy comes to mind as well, is they often go for a fast castle, pick up those relics, and then subsequently add in the town centers, which actually works quite well for them in the late game because of course they would have caught up by the villager count by then, and also they would have secured the large majority of those relics. But curious to see how this one pans out, especially with the Abbey of the Kings can apply a little bit of pressure early on is Kaiser Johan. The Japanese adding in the Kura storehouse as the feudal age landmark. No real surprises there. The Shinobi, I don't know, they just don't cut it on land maps these days. But you're gonna get free farms. Can't really argue with that. Makes it a very nice, easy transition to food as the Japanese. Speaking of food, looks like Kaiser Johan gonna push in his deer camp very nicely. That's going to be plentiful food. Now, of course, the English do get the cheaper farms and the faster gather rate from them, but, you want to delay the farming transition if you can get away with it, and of course, deer camp is certainly one way to do it. Now, this is an interesting location. The double stone and the gold vein and the deer camp on the right side, as well as the berries, but I do wonder whether, some easy palisade walls to the edge of the map would really secure this zone of the map and a lot of resources. It'd be very powerful for Kaiser Johan to be able to do that. The other side of things though, the map generation not so kind there for Beastie. His deer stacks, both of them are forward, and so is the gold. Either way. Oh, bit of cheekiness there. So, okay, well he's going to get a second town centre here, right, surely. That'd be a very nice position for it. He's obviously collecting that stone, and that's going to be a really nice town centre spot, that's for sure. Now, I would like to say a very big thank you, by the way, for everyone who's been supporting the channel, whether it be on Twitch or YouTube. You guys are absolute legends, so thank you. The support has been absolutely fantastic these days, and if I can ask for a bit of a cheeky favour, completely free, no cost to you at all. If you've been enjoying the content, make sure that you have subscribed to the channel. More importantly, hit the notification bell, because I'm going to be uploading, well, every 2 days at least. That's my minimum goal, that's my minimum target, and it's not too overbearing. I think I should be able to do it, and it's not too infrequent enough that I think people will be missing the content. So yeah, if you could do that for me, that'd be absolutely fantastic. There's the King's Palace about to be built. King's about to be coming out relatively soon, free. Well, I say relatively soon actually, it's taking a bit longer than it used to with the most recent patch. Got a bit of a nerf. It will take a grand total of about 50 seconds or 55 seconds I think. Yeah, 50 seconds it was. There's a stable for the Japanese. Looks like it's going to be the Bannerman build. Can be a really nice playstyle for the Japanese. There's the Daimyo Mana, which has been reduced in cost, is now 225 stone. I believe it was 300 stone earlier. That's going to give a really powerful unit in the early game to match the English king. Having said that, the English king can obviously heal himself, which is very powerful. Can do some damage and then head back, but it'll take some time for that king to pop out still. About 15 seconds away. And there's that second town centre, as we kind of expected. Now, with this in play, I want to kind of see how aggressive Beasty's going to be towards the castle edge. It looks like he's going to get a tower as well, which you kind of need to in this situation. Now, thankfully for Beastie in one way, is that actually the king, whilst it gives mobility on the map, it looks like actually Beastie should be able to get away with just one outpost. And the reason I mention that is because longbows, in fact, can actually just go around to this side and then start ranging these villagers if they're in large numbers and, you know, don't really get hit by the outpost too much. It would force Beastie into a double outpost if that was the case. But alas, unlikely to see any longbows, at least for the short term. Probably not before the Japanese actually get to the castle age. Can rush down the outpost, understandably so, because doesn't want to risk losing any villagers, and he won't, as the king now has to venture offwards south, actually. He's going to take a bit of a fight. I mean, he can just keep hitting the Uma Bannerman as much as possible and then just ride off, right? Heal on up and be absolutely fine. That'd be the nice way to do it. Yeah, it looks like Kaiser Johan, though, thinking about castle age himself with 6 villagers on gold. And survival techniques coming in will really get that food from the deer camp very, very fast. Quick time, for sure. So, in fact, this might be a bit of a tricky situation for Beastie because, I mean, the lag time between getting to the castle age is not going to be all that huge, considering the English haven't had to seed many farms, as we say that. He has seeded 2. That can often delay the English a little bit to the castle age comparatively, but actually, he won't be too far behind. But might be far enough that actually Beastie might pick up the lion's share of the relics. But with the king roaming around, it won't be as easy as just picking them up. You'll have to be careful about getting sniped by the king. Wow, it's a lot of villagers in gold now, understandably so, because he's going to be pumping out units. Now, I think one of the best units, I got to say, in the castle age, the mounted samurai, they're incredibly powerful, especially with their shield. So they actually deflect the first attack that they receive, whether it be melee or ranged. It can be really powerful in an engagement, in a fight. There's no doubt about that. Going to go for the floating gate landmark. 10 villagers building that. No real surprises on the choice of landmark. And we do see the palisades now coming up for Kaiser Johan, recognizing that, well, mounted samurai are a thing and they could ride on through. He's going to have to be a bit wary about that. Now, White Tower, plonked here, could be pretty powerful. Will stop any sort of progression of the mounted samurai. Maybe a small palisade wall here to the edge of the map. And Kaiser Johan will be fine and dandy. And safe and sound, even with the Japanese in the castle age. Now, one thing to mention, by the way, the Daimyo Manor is great for the Japanese, increases the harvest rate of nearby farms by 25%. It's a powerful, powerful boost, and of course that increases as you go through the manors, or the daimyos rather. We've got the Daimyo Palace, and then of course the Shogunate Castle upgrade, which goes up to 75% if I'm not mistaken. It's actually kind of crazy. And there's that castle age tech up. And the mounted samurai queued up instantaneously. And guess what? The Yorishiro, it is well, I guess it's a little crate that comes out from the floating gate landmark. Can be deposited in, well, any building, I think. And as you can see here, it has been placed in the stable, increasing the production speed by 150%. So they can really leverage that tech up timing and get plenty of units out quickly to get on the map. It's going to take the engagement. The king, I can't really do too much behind this. Probably has to back away from this now the mounted samurai is on the way. It will be that white tower right next to the capital town centre, protecting those farms and the gold somewhat. A very condensed economy as the English typically do, and I'm kind of curious to see if the Japanese can put too much pressure. I'm not sure they can, so it's going to be, you know, mid to late game, I think, in this matchup, at the very least. Now, this is where it becomes interesting, right? So we know that Kaiser Johan has been on second town centre. Beastie knows it as well, of course, and you see, I suspect he's going to be mining stone before too long to get his second town centre himself. Maybe even a third to catch up. Because he's struggling to get value considering the map generation that Kaiser Johan has and the way he's defended himself. When you struggle to get value, you've got to bolster that economy. But neither player grabbing any of the relics just yet. But that might be all about to change. Here come the palisades, the king just protecting this location whilst the palisades do go up, and a crossbow added in as well. Unfortunately, Beastie can't get through the White Tower like that. Gonna need some siege. Now, bear in mind, what's really nice as the transition for the Japanese is, as they mine gold, they also get a trickle of stone. So for every 10 gold they mine, they get 2 stone. So it's actually going to be able to afford a second town centre soon enough, without really mining any stone in the feudal age. It's pretty powerful, no doubt about that. And of course, it continues to make the mounted samurai. And it's got good map control. And with that, looks like some of the relics are going to start to come on in. One has already been made, and it's going to deposit it in the Shinto shrine. One thing to note is another Yorishiro is in the forge, so that gives him an extra bit of gold. As you can see, 20 gold per 20 seconds, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Has received a bit of a nerf. The village lead firmly with the English. But that might not be the case for too long. As I suspect, the second town centre will be coming in soon enough here for Beastie. He is mining a bit of stone just to quicken things up a little bit. And what's kind of interesting is that actually the Japanese don't get castles or keeps until the Imperial Age. And that means that whilst he's got lots of units, static defense wise, he might not have too much control on the map until he gets to the Imperial Age. Right, well, the farms are starting to be seeded now for the English, which will hit him a little bit in terms of unit production, but not as much as many other civilizations, of course, because of the discounted farms. Here's the monastery for the English, but Beastie already deposited 2 of the relics, 2 more on the way. It looks like he's going to get very much the lion's share of these relics. 1 is behind the palisade, so it's going to be a 4 relic game for the Japanese. And behind that, he adds in his second town centre to keep up the villager production to match the English. At least in terms of rate of production. Now I wonder whether Kaiser Johan feels good about moving out now. Looks like it. And he's going to wall up despite the White Tower being there, just to make sure that these mounted samurai in a big horde don't just run on through at the back of the base. That would be rather a disaster. Looks like Beastie now looking to prioritise getting the sacred sites now that he's picked up 4 of the 5 relics. Looks like it's going to be a mass barracks, and certainly cavalry play wouldn't really necessarily be an option against the Japanese in many ways. You have a really nice transition from mounted samurai into spearmen, or in this case, most likely to be Honor Geisha. Fantastic unit for the Japanese, and it all comes down to the extra range on their attack. And the reason why it's so significant, the 1.25 tile range, is that actually in a melee fight, they can fight over the shoulders of their allies and really essentially have a double surface area to attack with. Whereas other civilizations, their melee units can fight in a single formation or single line. They have to kind of track around to try and get contact. And it means that actually the Japanese hit harder in terms of, well, just hit faster because they can actually attack behind each other. And don't have to keep pathing around each other. Similar sort of mechanic for the Abbasid dynasty and their spearmen when they have their phalanx upgrade. It certainly is a powerful way to engage against an enemy. Of course, though, with a lot of crossbows, they will do pretty well against the mounted samurai for sure, and also pretty decent against the Honor Geisha. But he's got to make sure he's got a front line, and it doesn't really have too much of one. He's got a couple of spearmen, but they can be shredded by Honor Geisha if they get too close. Speaking about getting close, we are getting to the situation where actually armies are starting to clash a little bit. Single units here and there. Beastie is only 1 secret site away from activating the timer. Yeah, plenty more barracks coming down. He's getting prepped to be aggressive. As the farms continue to be seeded here for Kaiser Johan. He will need to venture out onto gold in the middle of the map before too long. Both players starting to chew up through their initial gold veins. As we head into the 16th minute of the mark of the game, it's typically at this point you have to start thinking about those 8,000 tile gold veins, which of course one is in the middle and the other one is actually on the left side, well, on the south really. So it looks like the left side could be an area that's contested for both players quite significantly. Villagers have to back away from the deer camp, they can't stay for too long. No harm in just backing away now. Now plenty of stone in the bank, and actually kind of curious because you can't afford, well, you can't make keeps in the castle age, so I wonder if that's for a third town centre. Either way, you can see the Onbegeisha almost in 3 lines, would you believe, actually being able to attack over the shoulders and doing so much damage, Spearman barely staying alive. The crossbow's going to trade out, they're going to just take as many of these mounted samurai as possible. Certainly the right idea, and to be fair, it's going to get most of them anyway. Now the Onbegeisha will probably clear this one up, but at least the mounted samurai have been dealt with. Although, well, as I say that, a couple possibly might survive. There's only one more that's remaining, and I think the crossbows might just focus fire on that. Now, there does have a a gold hue around these units for the English. It is the network of castles bonus. 20% does upgrade to network of citadels to make it 40. Incredibly powerful. That's something he'll certainly want to fight under that. What? In fact, how does he get that? Oh, there it is. There's the outpost. Just about to say, I was wondering where was that coming from. There we go. Sacred Site timer has been activated. 10 minutes, or 9 minutes now on the clock. He does have to back away. The Onbegeisha, they can gap close just so fast, and be able to fight on his shoulders makes them so good, although he's going to have to back away for now. They do melt a little bit to ranged attack, but with a good front line in front of them, it can work really well. Of course, Johan trying to get hold of this gold vein in the middle, but hasn't been able to secure it. He's going to get another outpost, which I'm sure Beastie will look to try and contest. You would have thought. Now, one thing that the stone could be used for is emplacements in these outposts, which looks to be the case. Looking to get control of those sacred sites and building the outpost in order to do so. And having some really good upgrades, Adachi could be seeing a, well, we will be seeing a samurai switch, no doubt. There we go. They are starting to be made by Beastie. It is going out to deer camp. And the boar. Now he's trying to decapture the sacred site. Will the Japanese let him do that though? That's the big question. This could be an interesting fight. I think it's I think there's enough there for Beastie, but he doesn't want to engage just yet. I mean, ultimately he wants to pull him out of the range of the outpost, right? Beastie will not want to fight this with the network of castles bonus being in play. But without it, it'd be a different story. Oh, he does deny that in the end. So unfortunately, the sacred sites stay under the control of the Japanese. This one probably will as well because of the sacred site and the outpost being there. Kaiser Johan will need to venture out on the map to get the sacred sites. It's certainly a playstyle that you want to, utilize against the English. Make sure you get the sacred sites, force the English out of the base rather than just let them camp at home, which is something that they can sometimes want to do. Now, as you can see, the melee infantry attack damage has been increased by 15% courtesy of the bannerman. The katana bannerman in there. So whilst the network of castles give the English an attack speed boost, the katana bannerman gives them a boost on their damage output. And there's going to get a bit of a raid here. Onbegeisha very fast on their feet, looking to try and snap at villagers and likely to do so. Yeah, picking off quite a few of them down in the sacred site. Well, it looks like Kaiser Johan trying to get control of that area, but he needs to get control of his base at the moment because there's Onbegeisha running riot. They're so fast on their feet. And Kaiser Johan is going to be in trouble if he doesn't take care of this. There's lots of raiding potential here for Beastie. Splitting the army onto 2, making sure that the limited army that the English have at home are also split. Got to go for the villagers and the farms. And there are a couple of longbows now. He loses one villager, might lose a couple more. But it won't be without losses anyway from the Japanese side of things. That's a lot of man-at-arms, crossbows pushing through right into the top of the base. I mean, it's a bit tricky to dive in the base like this. He's going to back away for now. Does he have siege engineering? That's an important question. Might look to get some rams potentially. I'll have to have a check on that in just a moment. There's the blacksmith, double blacksmith. In fact, it does have siege engineering. Although, that's Beastie's point of view, so we'll just switch around and... yeah, it does as well, yeah. There's a confirmation of that, because it's actually physically building those rams. Now, this is a heavy commitment, which is unfortunate for Kaiser Johan, but he needs to deal with this, and so he had to send quite a bit of army there. Regular samurai getting on top of the crossbows. This could be a problem for Kaiser Johan. Sure, it's good having the counter unit, but not if the samurai are right on top of them. It doesn't feel like there's enough of a meat shield here for the English. Quite a few more man-at-arms joining the fight as it happens on the west side. So maybe he'll get a clear up, but we shall see. Look at this, though. The Shinto priest healing up these units, and the Honor Brigade jumping into the fight as well. And the defender's advantage should work in handy for the Japanese. It should be enough to push that away, and looks like it to be. And that will be a clean-up. The remains of the bannermen laying the English farms. Oh, could pick up a couple of villages. No, Beastie, he reacts appropriately. And the big problem now for Kaiser Johan, maybe that was an overextension. Especially considering there was nothing... well, I guess he's going to go for the Imperial Age. Berkshire Palace in the middle of the map could be pretty good here. It felt like if that fight happened maybe a minute later than it actually did, he would have given him a bit more time to get the Berkshire up. As it happens, he doesn't have that much military here. So if it does try and place the the Berkshire Palace, there is a chance that Beastie might try and may be able to defend and basically deny it. Which would be a huge problem, to say the least. Yeah, there is that Berkshire Palace. Going to look to protect the 8,000 gold vein. Now, Beastie recognizes that, but he doesn't want to fight underneath the network of castles, and understandably so. Because it's now a network of citadels. 40% increased attack speed. It can be brutal. It's not a fight you want to go up against unless you know you're going to win it. And it will be the Tanegashima gunsmith for the Japanese, giving him some tickets, 2 stockpiles, being able to produce Ozutsu. Probably one of my most favourite units in the game. Does splash damage, would you believe? It's a great ranged siege damage output unit, so it could do huge amounts of damage to buildings, but also splash damage against other enemy units. Very powerful unit indeed, and I'm kind of curious to see how many of those he makes. There is the Berkshire Palace. Nice and quickly, looking to get boiling oil, man-at-arms upgrade. I'm sure we'll see enclosures before too long as well. Beastie looking to secure the 8,000 gold vein on the west side. It's going to be important to do. Now that he's in the Imperial Age, the Japanese, he should be able to get some keeps or castles, they call it for the Japanese, but doesn't quite have enough stone. But he's not too far away, especially with 14 villages mining stone at the moment. So let's take a look at the income. The income for food, as always with the English, incredibly powerful. Lagging behind a bit on gold, courtesy of, I guess, the Yorishiro inside the forge, which there are 2 right now, and not to mention the 4 relics and the 3 sacred sites. Look at that. In fact, Beastie has actually got less villages on gold, but managing to get more gold per minute. He's going to get a castle on the south sacred site. And a nice spot as it happens. This could be a bit tricky, right? Because how does Kaiser Johan push that? The sacred sites are a little bit awkward. 2 in the north, 1 in the south. Heading back home for now. Looking to get those all-important upgrades, it seems. Gonna get elite longbowmen. Looks like it's going to be man-at-arms into as well as elite longbowmen. Be powerful. All these honor brigade might just get us around on these villages if it's paying attention. Either way around the back, breaking through again. And this time it's with samurai added into the honor brigade. This could be doing critical damage actually as it happens. A lot of idle times at least. Oh no, yeah, he's on top of the villages on stone. That's not ideal for Kaiser Johan. Well, there is boiling oil, but this is buying time for Beastie. Looks like he might be massing up back at home. That's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to get 2 mangonels as well, and this is all very coolly and calmly collected and calculated. Because Kaiser Johan, he's stuck at home when in reality he'd want to be aggressive. He'd want to be doing damage. Unfortunately now, with that 3rd town centre it seems added in. Is that 3rd town centre? It feels like it, because Beastie's caught up massively. Yeah. Got a bit. Oh, is it just the 2? He just killed 40 villagers. That's what's done it. The massive raids there. And the beast didn't even need a third town to catch up. He just had to kill a ton of them. A ton of villagers. 40 of them. That's quite severe. The raiding on a Begatia done so much damage. And, well, it'll take time for Kaiser Johan to build up that village count again. Might not be able to be running into the Berkshire Palace though. Although now with the Ozutsu added in. Actually, to be fair, now he should be fine. 10 of these guys. They do so much damage. 130 versus buildings bonus damage. Right down the middle. Now, are there villagers to repair? I'm not so sure. There is burning oil, but these samurai just don't care. Especially with the two mangonels. This could be a problem with the bombard. Going to focus on the mangonels, maybe? Yep, looks to be the case, but we'll get some shots off at least. Right on top of those longbows. Massive damage output. Berkshire Palace barely staying alive. The Ozutsu take it down so quickly. Another massive mangonel shot. Those longbows. They are super weak, but he's going to have to back away with the Ozutsu. Keep them alive if he can here, Beastie. Will not want to lose those. They're a premium unit, but also when they're massed up in a large number, they could do so much work for you. As the samurai on the Begatia take front lines and trying to keep the Ozutsu safe and sound. Berkshire Palace is down, but he's trying to rebuild it. Now the Ozutsu getting a lot of splash damage, and these samurai are tanking so heavily for the Japanese. Ozutsu cleaning up behind this. Another battalion, another group of Honor Begatia samurai run into the front, and yeah, Beastie does not want to allow this Berkshire Palace to go up. It's being repaired. Wood is being sunk into it. But it's not going to stand for too much longer. Here come the Ozutsu. They're going to take it down quick time. All the villagers repairing. They're being sniped as well. The flames of the Berkshire. They are all that remain. Beastie continues to push on forward. And he's taking down these outposts. That will take away the network of citadels bonus. And that's so key to this engagement, to this fight. Make no mistake about it. There's a Ozutsu doing so much work, taking out the buffering of the English villages, or the English army rather, from the network of citadels. But now they're getting splash damage. That's a lot of man-at-arms coming in though. Samurai numbers still matching. Bear in mind the Sacred Site timer has been ticking for quite some time. 5.5 minutes on that clock. Network of castles back up again. Network of citadels, I should say. Although the Ozutsu, they'll be able to snipe it down quickly if they decide to focus on it. They haven't just yet. Oh, wait. He's going to go for the army. He's going to go for the outpost. The Ozutsu caught in two minds. He's going for the man-at-arms first to take down that front line from the English. He's going to have to back away though. Actually, Network of Citadels has worked really nicely there for Kaiser Johan. Maybe, just maybe, he sends some more villagers to repair. Look at that farming transition though. Bear in mind, Shogunate Castle is in play. 75% boosting up of the farms. It's absolutely incredible. Oh no, he hasn't got enclosures. No, Kaiser Johan. He's been missing this for quite some time. That is unfortunate. Beastie, just unrelenting. He will not allow that Berkshire Palace to come back up again. Understandably so, because what this is achieving as well, well, without enclosures, I mean, Kaiser Johan is not mining too much gold, right? He's got plenty in the bank, but he is being outmined by Beastie, and over time, it's definitely going to have a big influence in the match. Although this keep in the south, there is one bombard working on top of that, but that's going to be sniped. And not, I was about to say there's not enough army there, but they should be able to defend it in the end. Network of citadels back up in line, but let's take a look at this. The castle, with the rocket damage, does so much. With the castle in the north as well. I'm really looking to utilize the Sacred Site win condition actually, and with only 4 minutes on the clock, it's a real possibility it could work. I don't know what is up with this animation bug. Holy moly, that bombard has got a mind of its own. It looks incredibly unusual. As it packs up again. Oh, secondary castle, and Beastie, he's mining so much stone, but I mean ultimately he's getting stone from gold mining as well. Definitely adds in. With only one bombard, it will take some time for the English to break through these defences. I'm not sure if he has enough time, in fact. Spark ship might go up in the end, but it's not really the concern for BC. Just need to focus on protecting the sacred site. Potentially the Ozutsu could fire and splash damage on these ranged units. But look at this. The Samurai, they're on a big ship, getting so much value as that front line, and it's so hard for the English to push back. In the end, it looks like it's the Ozutsu that are really starting to come on trumps. Those outposts just can't go up. There's the sacred site timer, 3 minutes on that clock. The Ozutsu, though, having to back away as long as Beastie doesn't lose the sacred sites. That's the main thing, and he's got 2 castles on this one. It'd be hard for the English to really push through. He might get units on the sacred site, but they'd be suffering from so much damage, especially now with cannon emplacements on the way. 3 mangonels is going to be a fantastic way to push this back. Ozutsu, mangonels, samurai. An incredible army. Mangonels deploy. Samurai tank that front line for the Japanese. With Ozutsu on the back line, they're doing so much work. These range units, they always feel uncomfortable with this number of mangonels in play. The front line is dwindling there for the English. A lot of the back line going down to the mangonels. Ozutsu doing great work. Now, he does have set network of citadels, so that's going to be helping, but with only 2 minutes on the clock, I mean, ultimately, Beastie is absolutely fine with this. All he has to do is trade out his army, because meanwhile, the sacred site timer is ticking. And there's very little way for Kaiser Johan to step on this sacred site. With 2 castles, the army fighting this position as well. Network of citadels about to go down, potentially here for from the Ozutsu, but maybe not. He's going to focus on the army first anyway. Minute and a half on the clock. Kaiser Johan struggling, getting some massive mangonel shots, and that will be it, ladies and gentlemen. GG gets called, and it will be the Japanese on Dry Arabia. beastyqt takes the game. Hope you guys enjoyed this casted game, and if you did, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Take care, and see you next time.